The title of my presentation is Bob, More Than Meets the Eye. Robert Bob Rauschenberg believed that art could change the world. He believed this could be achieved by artists that were collaborating together, creating art. Throughout his life, this was something he always believed in. He would help others financially or with supplies or whatever they needed help with. He felt it was his duty to help other artists that were struggling. Although he was struggling himself, he still made time for other artists. Through my findings at Walter Hopp's book, Rauschenberg, the early 50s, 1991, Bob's efforts by many artists. When Bob started out, he was trying to narrow down his aesthetic. He was not really sure what he wanted to do, but he was aware that he was an artist. This was something that he felt deeply inside. We know Bob pieces can range from a taxidermy goat, x-rays of his body, bicycles mounted on their side, and even a painted BMW. Believe me, the list does not stop there. There are so many of his combines that we are familiar with. All of his later combines can be seen in Mary Lynn Coates' book, Rauschenberg, Art and Life, 2004. Once he found out what he wanted to do artistically, he still wasn't sure what his medium would be. What most people don't know, including myself, was that photography was his first choice of medium. Although Bob married when he was in his later 20s, together with his wife, who was also an artist, they created some of the first photographs using bleach with photographic paper. This was the beginning of his artistic style. He knew that he wanted to do something that was really creative with the camera, but he just still wasn't sure what it was that he wanted to do. Bob would take pictures of everyday life, people walking around, sitting in cafes, walking on the street. He even take pictures of people working, street signs, stuff like that. These are the things that most people would not find so interesting to look at. But Bob found beauty in many things, just ordinary things that we would normally take for granted, such as a light bulb or a man selling glasses on the street. All of his earlier photographs can be seen in a book written by himself, Robert Rauschenberg, Photographs, 1981. As Bob continued to build upon his photographs, he would incorporate them in his collages, silk screens, and sculptures. There are so many things that were out there to experience, and he found that by using found objects and everyday items, you could create art. He felt that just sitting around painting was just not enough. He wanted to do more. He was always experimenting with different mediums and different types of arts that you would normally say, well, what was that all about? You know, you would have questions. He did have a lot of questions in the beginning, but soon everyone caught on to what he was doing. He helped pioneer what is called today combines, along with Jasper Johns and some other artists. He worked less with the camera, but he still continued to experiment with different mediums and techniques. He also used mostly appropriated images, but he would use some of his images from time to time. He would incorporate these within his combines and his sculptures. He liked to work with wood, paint. He would also work with metal, silk. There were so many different types of mediums that he wanted to use. He just didn't have enough time to do it all. He was constantly working. He would work up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and he would continue to get back up early to work on his pieces. Bob thought it was very instrumental in his career to work with other artists from other cultures. He would work with people from China, Japan, France, Italy, everywhere. He found that working with different people from other backgrounds would enhance his career and him as a person. individually. As Bob got older, he found that working with his combines was what he preferred to do. So at some point, he stopped working with the camera altogether, but he continued to experiment with every different type of mediums. He would still use his photographs in these different types of sculptures, but he really used mostly appropriated images. After Bob started to get older in age, he started having health problems. So he started looking for somewhere to retire and settle down. That would be here in Fort Myers, preferably Captiva. He bought a house on Captiva from Dean Darling. People that are from Fort Myers pretty much are familiar with Dean Darling. He bought a place there. It was nice and quiet where he can work. Right here at FSW, consequently, he has a gallery. Bob Rauschenberg Gallery here, right here in the Humanities building. You can see a lot of his work in the hallway. There's a lot of his prints that he personally did right here in the art lab. A lot of them was produced right here in the art lab. So please, I hope you have a chance to go and check those out. As Bob got older, again, I said he retired in Captiva. Unfortunately, his health really got bad, and he passed away in 2008. Although Bob is gone, his legacy still remains. His former house is now turned into an artist residency. I was able to view the location myself personally, and it was a wonderful experience. Every 6 weeks, there's a new group of artists that comes out from different areas of the world. Not just here in Florida, but different states, from Europe, all over. These artists get together and they're able to create art. It's also a place there for single parents. They have a space for them if they have to bring their children with them. It's my belief you now know a little bit more about Bob Rauschenberg. I hope you could get a chance to visit the gallery and also visit the web. And I'll leave you with this quote from Bob himself. An artist's job is to be a witness to his time in history.